All right, everyone, we are back with another surprise video. I decided to do another ranking. I think the type one really caught on, so I'm excited. This time around, we are going to do the games, and it might be a little quick, but I wanted to get another one out just before I do go on that trip. All right, so we're going to start right away with Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. I'm going to put that as S tier. Such a good game. One of the remakes, again, all of Pokemon's remakes seem to just be right dead on with what the game is and should be. But obviously, we're not getting some of those remakes that we do want. Let's see. Black 2. We're going to rank also in the S class. It's such a good... I just played through those. And Black, I'll do as an A. The second games were so much better. Not even a question. Now, we're going to go back to the original. You know what it is. It's S+. Original games are S+, no matter what. They just hit different. The nostalgia pins right to it. Obviously, with Crystal, probably the best game, hands down, if you really wanted to pick, was probably Crystal. They expanded 2 games in one, basically. Pokedex grew huge. Newer Pokemon were still great. Pokemon Diamond, I personally think it's S-Class. Yeah. Those games were all good. Platinum is probably my favorite out of the group, but I think that Platinum was the only game where my Pokedex was almost done, and I actually did like the events that came with the game. So if you can only get these Pokemon in this event, and I actually would do them. I think that was the only game that I would. Pokemon Emerald S+, obviously. I mean, not even just the ROM hacks that came out, but the game itself is flawless. It runs really well. I think the Pokemon, and again, Gen 3 did it again, where it just did its own thing finally with the new generation, but it did it right. Fire Red, I'll put as an A. I didn't hate it as a remake. I think, obviously, the original games are good, but I feel like the remakes for these were a little under, and that's totally my opinion on this, just because I know people are going to be like, well, it's just the same thing. It's really not. Again, I think the reason is the nostalgia for Red alone carries that game. Gold, I think, again, is just that tier 2, like that Gen 2, just unbelievable Pokemon game. Heart Gold, I'll put an S class. I didn't mind those remakes at all. Those remakes were actually really good. The only thing I didn't like about that game, if I had to be super picky, is that every time I felt like I tried to run the game, in my personal opinion, all my save states would corrupt. On my DS for that game, so I don't know if it was just cursed. Leaf Green is a B. Now, I know it's confusing because you're like, wow, Fire Red's right there. It's basically the same. No, I believe that Fire Red was superior to Leaf Green. I'd never played the original Green game. Like, I think it's like the Japanese release games for that. So that I've never played. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu were C's at best. I think it gave you the new style of how they started making the games compared to how I think the direction they wanted to go. It's more the, I guess you can say, open world-esque kind of, and then also it's based on, I think, Pokemon Go with like the flicking for the Pokeballs. I played Eevee. I have Eevee, but I wasn't too fascinated in it. Moon, Sun and Moon's a debate. I guess I liked Moon. I'll put it in B. If I can't make it an A, it's probably going to be a close A to a B. Game really was all right. It's the one I bought, which I wish I didn't, but it was good. I mean, it played fine. I think for the 3DS standpoint, the game really kind of captured the 3DS part of a 3DS, but I don't know. It wasn't my game. Omega Ruby, probably S class again, because again, Alpha Sapphire is good, but Sapphire's better. Like, the remakes are all really good for those games, but they're not that much better. Pearl, solid game. I really loved Pearl. I think I played Pearl, Diamond, and Platinum. I think that was the only time I bought all three because I think there's different Pokemon in all three, not just legendaries. But Platinum for me was S-Class, S+. I played that game too much. Way too much. Like, once I started learning, I think that had correct me if I'm wrong, I think that had the Global Trade Center where you could just literally start just trading Pokemon for stuff you didn't have, or like the randomized like trade, basically mystery trade or whatever it is. Pokemon Red version, S+ tier. Obviously the original games were just S+. Ruby and Sapphire are S+. I know everyone's like, how is there so much S+? Pokemon games, when they were made correctly, were flawless games. They played well. I mean, if I'm gonna break down my S+ and I had to just break those down, my number one favorite, ooh, that's put me on the spot, is probably got to be Crystal or Emerald tied. Those are like the best, like, goats for me. Soul Silver, I don't think I ever played Soul Silver. I actually played Heart Gold. I think that's S. I don't know why I would have it any higher than that because I'm not very familiar with those games. Again, I played Heart Gold, I think, on an emulator last, and I like it. It just didn't hit the same as the actual Gold game. Pokemon Sun is going to go right along, I think, with A. I might actually move... No, I'll put that down to a B. They weren't bad games, all right? So they were playable. I liked them. I just wasn't my game. Now, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, I cannot lie about this. I have never played those games until I think I played it on an emulator. And I think it was Ultra Moon. I did not even finish it. But I've heard good things about the game. So I'll make it fair and put it under... Let's see. Let's just do this. To be fair. Because not played enough. Just because that's the only fair part for those, because I have never really played those. If I'm gonna go, White 2 was obviously S-Class. I think the second parts of those games are better than the first by a mile. Those games I couldn't put them down. I had to stop playing them, but they were so good. X and Y. I have a love-hate relationship with X and Y. I personally played X, and I didn't hate it. I still think it falls under that B category. Just doesn't hit like a regular Pokemon game used to, but it wasn't a bad Pokemon game in general. So I'll put those two at a B. I have no D class. I don't think... Sword and Shield was good, but I'd probably put them as a C. And Yellow, probably just with the original games. I might actually adjust a few of these just because I moved. I will... Diamond Pearl's gotta say S. I think Fire Red can move down to B just because it's with Leaf Green. It kind of runs the same. It's not the exact same game, but it's pretty close. All right, so my S pluses are Blue, Crystal, Emerald, Gold, Platinum, Red, Ruby, Sapphire, Silver, and Yellow. One thing that tells me is I'm old. I like the old games. My S class is Alpha and Omega, so Ruby and Sapphire. I got Black 2, White 2, Soul Silver, Heart Gold, Diamond, Pearl. I already said Omega Ruby, but so those games for me were very good. Like, I'd play through those again, but the originals were just better for me in those. Black and White was not a terrible game. Tough game. I think Black and White also brought a lot of difficulty to Pokemon games in general. Just because there's so much more it was more intricate. There's more things to do, more storyline. C, obviously, I think just anything it's funny, anything on the Switch for the most part is not that great for me. I don't know if it's just the nostalgia. I think I just like it on a handheld. Now, there's 2 games missing, I'm pretty sure. It's Scarlet and Violet. I'm going to put Scarlet and Violet probably at an A. I liked Scarlet. I have Violet, so I bought Violet. But it played well. They did the open world okay in that game. They didn't. It's kind of the same. They're kind of copy and pasted now, and I get it. But I hope the next game, I think, is Zed, or whatever the hell it is, with Zygarde, where it's only in the one city, and I don't know the city's name. I think it's where the game was based in France for the most part. It's on X and Y. It's just that middle city, I believe. I could be wrong. I'm assuming they're going to have extra areas on the outside of the game where it's like, oh, you have to travel here to do this. But I think that's as far as that game's going to go. So tell me what you think the new game's going to be like. But yes, guys, this is my Pokemon mainline games tier list. I just wanted to throw another one up because I had time. And again, I really appreciated everyone that interacted and watched my other two. People really watched the type one a lot, so that was cool. And I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.